Radiant team ban.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Bridon League Grand Finals in what could be the last game in the best of 5. BU steamrolled BBC twice, currently leading 2-0, and if one more game leads to a victory, then they'll be the ones taking home the #1 prize, and BBC are going to be out with 0 victories. It's definitely not the way that they wanted to go, but we'll see if they can bring it back. Running back 3 games in a row is really difficult, but if any team can do it, it's going to be BBC. Anyway, I'm Mikelorus, going to be one of your casters. I'm going to be joined by More Rage, please. And this should be, hopefully, BBC going back into their comfort zone, but man, I don't even know if that's going to be enough versus BU.
Yeah, I mean, BU really showing their superiority specifically at the draft screen. When's the last time you saw a Dragon Knight, never mind a 8-1 Dragon Knight for mind control? And yeah, they can go back to their comfort zone, certainly for BBC, but this talk about draft screen, it's not really to take away from the in-game execution of BU, which has been, for all intensive purposes, fantastic as well. So we'll see what they open up with. Again, Broodmother going to be banned out from BBC, so they won't have that to fall back on in this potential elimination game.
And BBC, they're going to first pick the Rubik, maybe for Yapzor, maybe for Miracle in the solo mid lane, but either way, it is one of the heroes that's going to be in their comfort zone, and I'm not going to jinx it or anything, but I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a Disruptor here for Levi. I don't know, that's just a wild guess, but Brewmaster and Axe being grabbed by basically Unknown, and no, Witch Doctor is going to be the pick for BBC. They have answers now to the Brewmaster, decently can counter him, Axe to a lesser extent as well, but this is definitely a different way to go for BBC. In fact, I don't know if I've ever seen them open like this before.
It's at least a little bit more aggressive, especially if they start to skill into the Maledict. So that's certainly been the weakness of a few of their lineups thus far, is the potential to roam for their supports just hasn't quite been there. And even in that defensive try against that dual lane Bane Mirana in game 1, they had the Abaddon Disruptor. It's really nothing to be worried about from the side of BU. And finally, they will have a little bit of kill potential with the Cask, with the Maledict, the Death Ward to come out eventually, and that instant cast telekinesis from the Rubik. He's also got some decent stuff to steal. Primal Split is a pretty reliable steal. More often than not, it's kind of hard to get off a haze or a clap right after the duration of the split, if the Rubik is still alive for that matter.
In BBC, they have just some of the most capable Rubik players that you will ever see, so if the Rubik player is still alive by the end of the split, then stealing that split is pretty much a given. So expect to see that. If it's going to actually happen, well, I mean, that's really up to the basically Unknown side. They have to kill off the Rubik in the midst of that split, and then clearly you're not going to have the spell stolen. But either way, BBC, they have potentially one of their cores in that Rubik, maybe 2 of their supports already. Either way, it's going to be Lion and Viper to hit the bin for BBC, and then for basically Unknown, a little bit of respect towards the Mass Carry Timbersaw there, and maybe we're going to be seeing a little bit of respect towards Bridon with the Slark ban or something like that. But either way, basically Unknown with 2 very tanky core heroes already. Even if Mass Carry wasn't on BBC, even if BBC had no Timbersaw players, the Timbersaw ban out is great for basically Unknown to protect the Brew and Axe.
Yeah, and especially to be able to get it into that second phase. And yeah, as you mentioned, that pure damage going to be pretty good up against the Axe as well. So it is a nice ban for BU to be able to pick up here. Little interesting bans come out from BBC. They banned this fucking Mad Lion, or Magoma Lion for that matter, in game 1 as well. And they are going to ban out the Viper, so a little bit interesting. Maybe a little bit telling as to what they're going for. Perhaps something a little more right-click oriented. Don't want to be kited around in terms of their melee carry. But Skywrath going to be picked up by BU, widely considered certainly a counter to the Brewmaster. So a bit of a pick deny there, even though both supports are out from a BBC. And also Mystic Flare kind of nice into the Witch Doctor, certainly with the Ancient Seal as well, to counter that Death Ward.
10 seconds remaining.
So basically, I'm going to grab a very stable, very safe support hero. Most likely will be handled by Magoma, I want to say. But give it to fucking Mad, that could also work. It doesn't really matter too much who takes that one. But Skywrath Mage Axe, it's not really the best setup for basically Unknown, so they're going to be looking probably for some sort of stunner. As BBC, well, they grab a stunner. It's going to be Wraith King. So Rubik looking a little bit more and more like a support hero after every pick. And Rubik Witch Doctor Wraith King, that has a lot of stuns. The damage output still isn't super high, but unless they're going for someone like an Axe or Brewmaster, it will be enough to get kills reliably, especially if it's on the Skywrath Mage.
Yeah, and it's nice into the split as well as the dunk coming out from the Axe, and it I mean, it's perfect revealing ban is that Viper, that they're going to pick up something like the Wraith King. That's a big problem with him, is kiteability, and even though he has that second life, you can just kind of leave him around till the end of the engagement if you can kite him and then kill him off twice. But BBC going to opt for Alina here, so they are really bringing out all the big guns in this last elimination match. Balls to the wall for them. Alina going to come out in a core role, presumably, unless, as you mentioned earlier, they run that miracle in the mid lane on his Rubik, and certainly both are pretty likely for BBC.
It actually doesn't really make too much of a difference that I can see, as you have a disable with Witch Doctor to set up for either another stun from Rubik or Lina, so you don't really need to juggle those stuns appropriately. Hell, you even have the Wraith King, so if you want to, you could run a support Wraith King, support Witch Doctor, and core Lina in the defensive tri-lane. There's options for BBC, and they have quite a few of them. They might be running a little bit low on physical right-click damage come later on, but if they're able to get farm in the Wraith King, or Lina is just able to dominate, then that also will not be much of an issue for the BBC side. This is, at the very least, for BBC, like a complete change of pace, and what we've seen them run so far in this best of 5, two vastly different strategies. Second one didn't exactly work, and clearly neither did the first, but maybe the third time's the charm for them. Maybe they can pull a win with this one, but basically unknown. They have their 3 cores up already. Razor, Axe, Brewmaster. It's pretty devastating in the mid game, but come late game, BBC might have an edge there.
Yeah, certainly so, and BU look to have already picked up their 3 cores here, and often the reason why Wraith King falls off late game is because there's a hero with the propensity to farm on the other team who's very good at it, and there really isn't that from the side of BU. So I do feel like BBC, despite having a little bit of lack of right click, as you mentioned, can scale pretty well into the late game here, and it will kind of depend on their last pick, which is probably assuming we're going to the off lane here. But BU going to need another support here, definitely a lot available to them. Hell, they could pick up the Disruptor for themselves, which isn't bad. Perhaps they go back for the line was banned out here. Mana Burn would have been nice up against the Wraith King here, but they could even go for something like a Nyx Assassin.
That would actually be pretty sweet. I'm thinking BBC are going to grab a Meepo. Damn it. If that was Meepo, I would have been so happy. But Clockwork is instead going to be the pick. And, well, for basically unknown, not necessarily that Nyx Assassin, although as far as filling roles, it's not too dissimilar. Like, you'll be able to jump in and help out with a lot of presence around the map. And basically unknown going to be going for what looks like a jungling axe. So, once again, going to be playing this fairly greedily, basically unknown, and can that be punished from BBC? Probably. I mean, you look at their lineup and you have all 5 of the heroes that are probably going to be roaming pretty heavily. So Axe will have maybe a couple heroes to deal with every now and again, but this is just such a huge change of pace for either side. I mean, these heroes are just Nature's Prophet, Clockwork as the last picks. Haven't seen Nature's Prophet in a very long time.
Yeah, and I think if BBC wins here, the difference, at least on paper, in this game from their past games, and even their wins versus X game today, is their lanes are really strong, and I don't think they've had that thus far, and especially up against a greedy kind of jungling Axe lineup, unless they put fucking Matt in the lane, which is probably not really going to happen unless they run dual lanes here. So I feel like BBC definitely need to make this work in the early game, and they should have a pretty relevant lineup in the late game as well.
Yeah, you compare these lanes to the lanes in like the first game where you have an Abaddon, Disruptor, Spectre tri-lane, like that is not a strong lane by any stretch. But if you look at these lanes, like, it doesn't even matter what the lanes on BBC are going to be. They could take, you know, pick 2, pick 3 of any of these heroes, and then you will have a dangerous lane. It really doesn't matter who's going to get the farm, because no matter what their lane assignment is going to be, they're going to be able to get kills. And it's going to be a little bit difficult killing off the more tanky heroes of unknown. Like, Axe is going to be a hard nut to crack, Razor has boots first, and Brewmaster is Brewmaster. So BBC are going to need this amount of firepower if they actually want to kill off basically unknown, but it's good to see that they actually have this much flexibility and this much inherent power in their lane. So they actually do stand a fighting chance, as you compare it to game number 1 and game number 2, where they were just pretty much out of the game within the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, certainly so. So it'll be interesting to see, and perhaps a little bit fun for these BBC players to play something a little bit out of the box for them. Bambo, Nature's Prophet here, though, a little bit throwback as well, and I'm looking for him to start making some big plays early and get involved, especially to looking to turn the numbers advantage in the favor of unknown, as it does seem that BBC's lineup is going to get aggressive pretty early and often.
Well, either side are ready to go, so maybe this is going to be the last game of the Bridon League, and we'll see if BBC can prevent that from happening. For right now, they're going to send Massacre over towards the top lane as his Clockwork, which is actually a pretty good hero player assignment there. Miracle's going to be handling the mid lane Lina solo. Then bottom lane, we got Levi on Not Disruptor, Witch Doctor. He's going to be played by him. Padrinho is on the Wraith King. That leaves the Yapsor on the Rubik, smoking up and looking for blood.
Yeah, and over towards the safe lane, we got fucking Mad playing up on the Axe. Magoma is going to accompany him on the Skywrath Mage. May run into Yapsor here, but he is going to be able to fog him around the tree line. Should be safe for at least the time being. Rotating in on the Brewmaster is a Soxka or a Paris, and they do have over by the tower here. Mind Control. Concussive Shot is going to go out just a glancing blow to save them. Finally, over towards that offlane, Sexy Bamboo, as we already mentioned, on the Furion.
Alright, so for BBC, it is going to be an offensive tri-lane, and the jungling Axe is really going to be the one who's hit hard by this. First of all, you got the Magic Bush Ward, which is going to block both the pole camp and the hard camp. I don't know how that spawn box makes any sense, but it does. And fucking Mad is going to be slowed down quite a bit by that, and that means he's going to have to jungle very far away, going into these camps over here. That's going to be out of necessity. Fucking Mad doesn't really want to be doing that, though, just because he can help out this lane. He kind of wants to be able to lend his aid whenever possible, but just being far away is going to mean that BBC, if they want to punish this Axe, they have to go a lot further in order to do some damage to him. And this Observer Ward, though inconvenient, is not going to be backbreaking for the basically unknown side, just because Brewmaster is so survivable.
Yeah, certainly so. So interesting lane setup from both sides. Fucking Mad going to be starting off in that jungle with 2 stout shields actually on the Axe. Interesting choice from him as opposed to opting for that ring of protection. And they will have that aggressive try, as we mentioned earlier on. BBC looking very strong. The 1v1 matchup is a little bit of a win for a Clockwork later on, but early Bamboo should be able to harass him out pretty reliably.
And just from what we've been seeing of Bamboo today, this guy has been playing like he's on fire. And Massacre, after last game's how should I put it, really bad performance on the puck, it's pretty easy to say that Bamboo should have a pretty substantial edge here versus Massacre. And as you said, here it has an inherent hero advantage versus the Clockwork from the early levels, having the treants to harass, having the range advantage.
Right.
I believe also with a slight base damage advantage as well. Not with the Quelling Blade, but in the fistfights he will win out ahead. But Bamboo should have that one more or less under control. And then we have the mid lane where Mind Control is going to be going up against Miracle. This is actually not a matchup that I've seen before, just because of how rare it is to pick up Razor nowadays. But I don't think it's too bad for either side. In fact, it should be relatively even.
Yeah, you know you're in a kind of a new weird meta when you see Lina mid more often than you see Razor. And you'll see a Battle Hunger go up bottom here onto Yapsor, but fucking Mad just going to use it for zoning purposes. Actually going to catch a right click from Padrinho. Not going to look for that solo call. He actually doesn't have a level in it quite yet and is going to retreat back to the jungle probably shortly hereafter.
And this is something that Axe does love to do. Even if you're playing him in the support role, he loves to just jump into a creep wave and then just get to work. And he's going to run to Yapsor. Gets a pretty lucky call or spin there. Now fucking Mad going to take a stun. Maledict as well. Secondary stun. Going to be layered a little bit, but Paris fucking Mad going to get chain stunned up. Fucking Mad going to do a lot of damage before he dies, but he will go down first, but kill off Padrinho for first blood before any of that happens. That's going to be blood drawn by basically unknown. Such a lucky first blood, honestly. Like, if Axe is just a little bit more unlucky, if he doesn't spin that one extra time, could have gone the other way, but sometimes the spins are just with you.
Yeah, and only 2 bounces on that early cask is pretty underwhelming, so unfortunately for BBC, they lose that off. Light Strike Array going to be used to secure Miracle of Rune. He'll get static linked up, but with that Fiery Soul right-clicking pretty quickly, Mind Control going to need to get to high ground. He's actually going to look to deny himself to the Ancients here, and a stop cast is there from Miracle, but he's not going to be able to get him. Nice deny coming out from Mind Control. Free trip back to the well for him. He purchases up the full Magic Wand.
Yeah, it's not really going to inconvenience him that much. The only way he would have died there was with another Dragon Slave with Lina, which was very close to being available, but when you're hitting for, you know, minus 50 damage, it's hard to do damage to the enemies. Over towards the bottom lane, Padrinho also going to get caught again. This time, stun onto Paris, going to drag him back into Magoma, so the right-click damage might not be there. Fucking Mad needs another spin, and he gets it as well. Wraith King is going to take a fall. This time, Fucking Mad is going to survive as level 1 Maledict, or actually level 2 Maledict. Not too impressive as a skill. Paris going to close in onto Levi. A couple more hits. If he draws a crit here, that will be a kill, but that's not going to happen either. But it's going to be 2-2 right now. And BBC's bottom lane definitely not going as well as you would expect because of the activity of this Axe.
Yeah, and Massacre is almost being completely zoned out by Bambo. He's got no mana left. Treants are blocking him in now. They may even have kill potential on him. He's going to get sprouted up. Treants are going to soak up the tower for the time being, but Bambo, with not enough movement speed, isn't going to be able to chase down this Clockwork. But either way, 15 and 8 on the CS board to the 11 and 4 of Clockwork. And you do expect him to find his farm in the 1v1. He will find levels, but Bambo going to be able to get involved much more quickly.
And we haven't even seen Bambo teleport out just yet. He doesn't really have that much to contribute aside from a couple right clicks. Has gone for a rather early point in Sprout, so he will have that as a pseudo disable. But BBC, they have quite a few ways of cutting through that through just tangos. They have LSA to get through that as well. So, and telekinesis drop, the secondary part of telekinesis also can break trees. So the Sprout isn't really going to be too useful, but we actually see action brewing over in the mid lane. Fucking Mad wrapping around, looking for Miracle. Static Link is going to steal only 14 damage, however. Miracle also has a DD rune. He's going to land a stun onto fucking Mad, who's going to take a hell of a lot of damage, uses the call for that extra armor, but with the Maledict on him, he will go down to a Dragon Slave. Lena's going to draw one kill, and basically Unknown didn't really expect there to be that many BBC heroes over in the mid lane, and they get punished for it.
Yeah, Tranquils are up, though, for fucking Mad. He can retreat right to the jungle now and look to continue to find his farm. Will be a pretty late Blink Dagger up on him, though, only having the Tranquils no gold up at 5 minutes. But he is running, so it's not all on him to start making things happen. Massacre did rotate down to the bottom lane. They are going to rotate over, in fact, the dual lane currently of Levi and Bridon to the top lane to deal with Bambo here and stifle up his farm.
This is a much worse lane for the Nature's Prophet, but it's still manageable. Bottom lane Massacre is going to get jumped. Seems like no matter where this guy goes, he's just going to get shut down, and Paris is going to draw yet another kill there. But as I was saying, Sexy Bambo, rather, he will be fine to stay up on this top lane because he's already level 5. If he was a lower level, this lane would be a lot more rough for him, but it's going to be Miracle in the mid lane to be in a lot of trouble. Mikelorus is going to chase him down. Bambo's going to come right in. A couple more right clicks with the Sprout for a little bit of extra vision. That's going to be the death of Lena. And there's no teleportation support coming in from BBC. Even though Mind Control is very, very weakened right now, he will be fine to just walk himself out of this situation. 4-3, and it looks like, well, with the Rocket Flare, maybe they're going to try to make something happen. No, Mind Control will be just fine. Pretty much all lanes going very, very well for basically Unknown, especially after that Lena kill.
Yeah, and fucking Mad's retreated to the jungle. He's got a stack here that he's farming up. He'll be able to accelerate his economy quite a bit from that and pick up those Tranquils and get right back to full HP. So things looking very good all around. Get this guy a Timber Saw for Massacre because I'm tired of seeing him die. I feel terrible. Bible thump, folks. Bible thump.
And that might just be like a weakness of BBC. And after seeing their past couple of games today, it does seem like their hero pool is just very, very limited. Slim, and that's why they pick comfort heroes over quote-unquote good heroes. Maybe just because they don't actually have heroes, or they're not as capable, and they're not able to use the other heroes because their hero pool just isn't as large. So might just be one of the fatal flaws of BBC. Like, they're sick with their signature heroes. That's why they're called signature heroes. But outside of that, haven't really been too impressed today.
Yeah, certainly so, and maybe just an off day. They also are a relatively new squad, so maybe that's partly the reason why they pick up these comfort heroes. They haven't been able to find too much chemistry with other lineups quite yet, but they'll probably evolve, and even if they lose this game, we'll be back and certainly will be a contender in this T2 scene for quite a while.
Well, we're also just kind of dismissing them already. It's by no means over in this game. BBC, they might still bring it to a game 4, but as it stands right now, basically Unknown, though they are falling slightly behind in the last hit department, having a 2-kill advantage. That 3 is factoring a suicide to the neutrals, so 2-kill advantage right now for basically Unknown, and they're pretty much sitting pretty across all lanes. Massacre crucially does have that level 6, so he can maybe look to make some action happen if he catches Magoma in a cog by himself. With the level 3 battery assault, there's not much that Skywrath Mage can do, but outside of that, I mean, even if you do land that, you have to deal with the Brewmaster afterwards, and you have to deal with the teleporting Nature's Prophet. That's a lot to deal with. Miracle over in the mid lane is going to get jumped by Mind Control. Here comes the Nature's Prophet. Laguna Blade, though, is going to wipe out the Razor before anything else. Now Bambo is going to get caught with 1 stun. Maledict as well. Trian's going to be summoned. He's going to sprout Miracle, but that's not going to do jack. He's going to try to TP out, but that's not going to happen either. Miracle's going to draw a double kill over in the mid lane as basically Unknown, I guess, just don't expect this burst damage from the Lena. Maybe they just didn't think that Razor was going to die to that, but that was not really a fight that they could have taken.
Yeah, a little bit of questionable TP in from Bambo, but either way, not the hugest deal. Padrino's farming very well, however, on the Wraith King and has picked up Bass. He's got 1,000 gold in addition to that, can complete up his treads from the side chop if he'd like, and he will opt to do so here. So can start to get involved alongside Levi as well as his other support in the Rubik, and they have picked up the Death Ward on Levi now, so they do have quite a bit of kill potential from this tandem. They're also giving some space over to Yapzor to find his spell steal, and we all know how effective he can be with that. So it will be interesting to see if BBC can continue the momentum off that last little engagement.
Well, they're going to have to deal with the roadblock soon enough, as Fucking Mad is closing in pretty swiftly on his Blink Dagger. So once he grabs that, then Unknown are going to have some ways of responding to the BBC side. We actually see Paris opting for a rather early set of power treads for himself. So instead of going for a straight up Blink Dagger, he's going to have that additional attack speed, a little bit more survivability as well. It's fine since Blink Dagger is going to be coming up eventually regardless, but Bridon and Bambo, they're stuck in a corner together, and that's obviously good for the Wraith King. Don't really know how that came to be, but either way, it's going to be HG Prophet taking a fall.
Yeah, interesting little turn of events there, and very nice solo kill going Padrino's way. 641 experience going his way after a very nice start. Bambo 0-2-1, currently 3 null talisman build going his way, but hasn't been involved, at least in numbers, in fights, has often been picked off solo. 3-man smoke from Massacre, Levi, and Yapzor, and they may run into Magoma here. They would like to find Fucking Mad just before this Blink Dagger, but they aren't going to be able to do so. Hook is going to land by the rune, and easy solo kill going Massacre's way. He'll try to pick up this haste as well. Bambo going to think better of TPing in under that battery assault, and he will be able to do so. Bambo going to look to defend up top lane against Padrino, and should be just fine. Going to drop the Nature's Wrath as well. Yapzor looking for more blood with the haste rune available to Massacre. He can walk in for Cogs here mid lane, and that will set up the LSA and the Laguna Blade onto Mind Control, so they certainly do have kill potential here. Dragon Scythe is going to whiff. Mind Control going to get into the trees. Death Ward dropped immediately. Cogs there as well. It's going to burn the mana of Paris. He'll completely whiff the clap. Doesn't have enough mana for the split as well. Concussive Shot is going to go out onto Yapzor. They'll find a return kill there. Blink forward, call, and the call from Fucking Mad. He's looking for another onto Yapzor. Great body blocks coming out from Massacre, though, keeping his Rubik safe, and the Wraith Fire Blast will be there from Padrino. He doesn't have enough mana for the reincarnation. Needs to be careful here, but it looks like the Primal Split is focusing onto Massacre for now. And they are just going to back off with this split, unfortunately, for Unknown. Overall, looks like a 2 for 2, but more important heroes going down on the side of BU than was BBC.
Oh, and Yapzor still split. That's going to be, well, first of all, impossible for Paris to deal with because he doesn't have enough mana to cast anything else post-split. But Yapzor going to be holding on to that one for quite a long time. And BBC, I mean, they get initiated upon it. Looks pretty good for them killing off that Razor, but they invested a lot to do that. And the TB support coming in for Unknown, the Blinking Axe, the Brewmaster getting the split off eventually as well. And, well, basically Unknown, they reinforced pretty decently. It's kind of weird to see Bambo not joining that fight, and now he's going to get jumped by Massacre. He has maybe a Treant to take a couple hits. He's going to try to shove himself out of there with the Sprout. Forming a couple Treants. Massacre is surrounded, but Bambo is a little bit more so. Wrath of Nature is out. Is he stuck himself? I think he is, but either way, it's going to be him going down. Not much you could do to escape from that, and well, Fucking Mad's going to look to close in. Has a call on Massacre, but there is such a slim chance of getting spins here, and it's going to very quickly time out that call. Cog's going to push Fucking Mad back. Cask will be drawn away, but the BBC side going to look to reinitiate as Massacre doesn't have any mana, but Miracle still is leading the charge. They have Fucking Mad in their sights right now. LSA is going to land. Now Fucking Mad's going to take a Laguna Blade to the dome. That's going to be the Axe going down, 6-11. And BBC, they're doing pretty darn well here in this game number 3. And basically Unknown, well, they just can't really get their troops together. Mind Control and Bambo never really at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, they do pick up that tier 1 in the bottom lane, but Yule Scepter now available for the Lina, so easy setups for Miracle into that LSA here. As you mentioned earlier, the split available for Yapzor, so they certainly can look to defend up this tier 2. Mind Control little to nothing on this Razor, 5th overall on the net worth chart. Losing a lane to Lina, not your best, but being doubled up in net worth, even worse. And it looks like tier 1 may be traded mid as well from the side of BBC for their tier 2 in the offlane, but they will opt to jump back and defend this. Death Ward at the ready, Rocket Flare gonna back off the tandem of Bambo and Mind Control, and they've even got a Blink now available to Padrino. Bambo's going to TP in this top lane. He's killable with the hatchet available to Padrino. Can certainly solo him down.
Well, in the meantime, Magoma and fucking Mad, they're looking for blood also in the mid lane, and the positioning of Miracle and Yaps are not too good right now. A little bit better now, but a blink forward call is going to connect onto Miracle. Mystic Flare is there as well. Miracle is going to take a very swift fall. No, he's actually going to Yule himself up into the air. He will survive for a little while longer. Mascara coming in. Miracle still alive. Not getting hit with a concussive. The Wind Panda will throw out one more shot, and Lina will go down in the end, but in the meantime, the other split going to chase down Magoma with another rock. Magoma is going to take a fall. So far, 1-1, and it looks like that might just about be it, although Yaps are caught in the tree line. Now, with the rest of the split from Paris, going to go into his main form, and he will kill off the Rubik with the help of Axe, making it a 2-for-1 in favor of BBC. Even with that extra split from the Rubik, Unknown's initiation was just too darn good. Blink, Call, Mystic Flare, and it's hard to escape that no matter who you are.
Yeah, definitely a nice combo there for BU. They still haven't gotten Mind Control involved at all, so this Razor is still going to be pretty underwhelming for a while. But he is level 9, so his level advantage is decent. He's at least midway through the pack and needs to find that level 2 Eye of the Storm before he can get a lot done in these team fights. But poor start for him, 1-3-2 on the KDA. Needs to be careful. The Eul Scepter initiation is here on top of the cask, and easy LSA for Mind Control Death Ward there as well. And there's the Laguna Blade to finish him off. Call even gonna whiff from fucking Mad, trying to drag one to the high ground, and easy kill on this Razor, and he's done absolutely nothing in this one. Something we spoke about earlier on. Mind Control really needs kind of these space-creating heroes as opposed to these frontliners that just sit there and right-click.
Up towards the top lane, Bridon is going to try to kill off the tower. Now he's going to end up in a fight with Bambo. Gets locked in with Paris. Has a Quelling Blade, but he can't quite get out because Paris is stuck in his way. That's going to be his reincarnation down. In the meantime, Axe does take a fall. Bridon is going to blink out of there after having reincarnated. And he's going to be still chased by Paris, but I don't think Paris is enough. No, he won't even bother. TP canceled back by Bridon. He wants to stick around and farm, but over towards the mid lane, not exactly sure what happened, but I can only assume it was just a random Eul Scepter into LSA combo there. And BBC now 14 versus 8, and they're going to start applying some pressure now to the base of basically Unknown, or the structures of basically Unknown, and it just seems like, as you said, Mind Control isn't doing anything in this game, and a Razor that gets nothing early on is going to be doing nothing later on also. Best case scenario, who survives and drains out the likes of Wraith King, but then it's like, okay, well, you have the Razor who might be able to do that, and that's it. He will even be very vulnerable to death, even if he does survive throughout the initial drain.
Yeah, and I feel like he may have been relegated to build kind of these team fighting items into the drums, into the mech, as we didn't see the Nature's Prophet build a mech or a blade mill quite yet for Bambo. So Mind Control not having that means that they can't really ball up from the side of Unknown and look to take towers, and they won't have an Aghanims anytime soon either for Mind Control. So yeah, as you mentioned, super underwhelming is Mind Control thus far, and Bridon is finding his farm. He's probably building into a blade mail here, has a broadsword in addition to his treads and his blink dagger, and he's starting to get pretty scary on the Wraith King. Level 2 reincarnation available to him, so 60-second cooldown. And Miracle, there is a TP in from Bambo. He's going to cancel it, however. Cask going to bounce through the Brewlings, only going to work on the two who aren't magic immune. Boulder Toss goes out. There's the Mystic Flare, and the Plasma Field with one more Arcane Build is going to finish off Levi, but the hook into the Laguna Blade brings down Mind Control once again, and this split is about to expire here for Paris. He will bring back his Earth Panda to the south, though, and should be just fine. So 1-for-1 going the way of BBC, however, with Mind Control dropping just for Levi. And they can still look to press on forward. Laguna Blade is on cooldown, however. And Bridon gonna blink forward into a Wraith Fire Blast. LSA is there as well as the Dragon Slave, but Paris a little bit too tanky at this point to be brought down.
Not fucking Mad has joined the fight. No real chance for BBC to get those kills, but they shut down Razor even more. They, I guess, don't have to deal with the most fearsome initiation there from Paris. It seemed like he thought that Bambo was going to go in, but then Bambo changed his mind, but then Paris still wanted to go in. So the split was very, very scattered, and well, BBC, they still walk away from that with the kill on the Razor, and they don't have to deal with the Axe or the Nature Prophet. So Unknown not even bringing their full force to the front lines, but they still walk away with at the very least something, given the power of the Mystic Flare. But BBC, they're still pretty much exactly where they want to be. Masquerade is, getting his farm enough that he's going to be going for a Blade Mail. There's also secondary Blade Mail and Wraith King, so what do you do then when you're basically unknown and you can't hit any of the enemies? You just have to run away, I suppose. And well, BBC have chasing power and then some, as Miracle's getting really, really big. Point booster on him. Eul Scepter has been doing work over the course of this game, and well, there's not too much on the supports, but Yapzor is getting towards that Eul Scepter, and that will be just another tool to interrupt the initiation of Unknown.
Yeah, and there's literally no like no big items that have come out for the entire side of BU aside from the 2 blink daggers, which have been out for quite a few minutes now. So I really do worry for their ability to continue to survive through this mid game. They're going to have to win engagements off the back of some big calls from fucking Mad. And he is on his way to his blade mail, is about 350 gold away from that broadsword, but still not sure that it's quite enough to put this all on his back for BU.
Yeah, he needs some substantial help right now, and you know, Paris is more or less doing his job as the brewmaster, but it seems like the lack of Bambo's influence and lack of mind control's influence in this game is something that we, first of all, just haven't seen yet from basically Unknown. Like last game, Bambo was running the show. This game, he's not doing anything. He has a build that lets him do things, like with the Mass Null Talisman's Power Treads. You want to fight early, often, and you know, just all the time, just never stop. But he hasn't really been doing that, and of course mind control is not performing either. So it just seems like Unknown are in a 3v5, and I don't like those odds for Unknown. So these heroes can't really kick into gear either. Like there's no item that they could grab to make everything better. So BBC, they have pretty much more heroes in this game.
Yeah, I feel like the Nyx maybe plays Bambo's role a little bit better here. A lot of squishies on the side of BBC. Rubik, Lina, Witch Doctor. There's also the Mana Burn pretty good up against Padrino, but we'll see how it pans out here. They still are basically Unknown. They still have run through most teams in this tournament, so they do have the potential to come back in this one. But BBC taking a commanding lead at this point, looking to extend this to a Game 4.
And they're still just applying that steady stream of pressure over towards the mid lane. The threat of Miracle's combination at this point is just so scary for basically Unknown. Fortunately for BU, they don't have to worry about like a Blink Dagger yet on Miracle or a Force Staff or anything like that, but man, even without that, Miracle, if he catches you with a random LSA, Yule Scepter or anything like that, you're just going to die. We have a smoke up from BBC. They're going to be running
right
into fucking
before he
Mad.
picks up his blade mail.
Gotta get his Tranquil Boots, man. Pick up his Tranquil Boots and hope that the enemy guesses wrong. Well, they're going to see
he needs to buy
Max.
up.
He's going to have his boots, but he's also in a hell of a lot of trouble. Gets maledicted, battle call stolen by Yapsor. That's not really what you want to have happen. The Death War is going to be focused on fucking Mad. That will be 1 kill, as Paris does his best versus Levi, but he just can't do that much with only a level 1. Always doesn't get hooked as well. Massacre is going to trap Paris. He has no split, and Miracle's going to come in for good measure. Massacre is going to jam another one home, 9-17, and BBC, they're just getting everything in this game.
Yep, they're doing very well. Fucking Mad was able to buy out, so he did get that blade mail, but still not sure that it's going to be quite enough to put them over the edge. They bring down Paris as well, and things going extremely well for them. Blade mail will be up soon for Bambo. He can pick up that Robe of the Magi from the side shop, but he hasn't been involved quite enough for that to do much, and BBC continuing to widen their advantage here. 3 components of the Aghanims up for Miracle, and once he picks up that Aghanim Scepter with the pure damage of that Laguna Blade, I don't feel like anyone has really the capability to survive, albeit the blade mails are coming out here. Instant mana burn from the cogs from fucking Mad will cancel his blink as well with that negative earn tick, and he won't be able to look to re-engage.
He'll back off after having lost his tier 1 tower. In the meantime, nothing really happening on the other heroes of basically Unknown, just getting a little bit of farm here and there. We have a 3-man smoke from BU, and this is a pretty dangerous squad. Just the Mystic Flare after the call is dangerous enough, but can they actually find anyone? They might run into Padrinho, and if that is the case, then BBC can reinforce extremely fast and save the Wraith King before he dies a second time. So this is by no means a guaranteed kill for basically Unknown, assuming BC catch this. They're going to see Miracle, though. No, actually, that's actually fucking Mad who gets jumped by Padrino. Battlefield is there. Fucking Mad is going to cancel Padrino's blade mail with his own, but Padrino's still taking a lot of damage. Massacre is going to jump right in, kill off the axe, and will also walk out of there alive as Padrino chasing forward, wants to use that reincarnation slow, and he will get it onto both Miracle and Mind Control. Levi, in the meantime, will get focused by the split, but it's not doing too much because of the cask jumps, and the Witch Doctor gets to walk away from that. Padrino will also blink out from that situation. Bambo, in the meantime, teleported in, got annihilated, and after all is said and done, the gankers become the gankies, and Unknown walk away with 2 more deaths. BBC not having lost a single hero.
Yeah, they can walk right into the Roche Pit with the Vampiric Aura as well at level 2, and they will opt to do that, it seems. Padrino going to run right in there, and Fade Bolt not going to be nearby for some minus armor for Yapsor, unfortunately, but they can TP in, and he is going to need the rest of his lineup in order to do that, so we'll just opt to go towards that bot lane and look to continue to farm here. But, I mean, BU... another thwarted smoke there, and they haven't been able to find any traction for these tempo controllers in fucking Mad in Paris, and they're being really eclipsed heavily by these heroes from BBC in terms of the net worth. They do find Padrino for once with Bambo. He's going to be used up into an LSA, though. Laguna Blade is there as well. A few more right clicks. Dragon Slave going to finish him off. That's an Aghanim's Laguna Blade doing work. Fucking mad next to fall as well. Plasma Field goes out onto 2. Ancient Seal there to buff it up. Eye of the Storm here as well. A lot of damage being linked away from Masquerade. He's dropping low. He probably should drop to the Eye of the Storm here, but Mind Control next to fall right away, and Magoma not able to rotate in to bring down Levi. The Voodoo Restoration keeping him up. Paris going to be dropped into an LSA. A few more right clicks. He's going to fall as well. Eul Scepter up onto Magoma. Probably will be the next to fall here. An LSA going to be dropped on him. Dragon Slave finishes him off. Ultra kill going the way of Miracle. And he's already picked up his Aghanim, so can look to buy into whatever he likes at thus forth.
And it looked like a decent start to the fight for basically Unknown, but the Razor just not with the survivability enough to actually kill off everyone after having stolen so much damage. And Brewmaster didn't have split there. Basically Unknown basically just go a little bit too far away. They might catch Yapzor on the retreat. No, they won't even do that. Fucking Mad still looking for this Rubik with that Battle Hunger, but a TP out Yapzor is going to be fine. And, well, they defend their bottom lane tower Unknown, so they don't really lose any objectives off of that, but still, this Miracle Lina is getting so terrifyingly huge right now. Like, this Aghanim Scepter, Laguna Blade does a crap ton of damage, and its uptime is so much, so you always have to worry about this Laguna Blade combo. And clearly, if she's not going to be focused down, then she'll be able to do a lot of damage with her right clicks, with her refreshed basic skills. I don't know what the Unknown have to do at this point, except for, you know, cross your fingers and hope that the split and the link happen in the same fight very close to each other, which just didn't happen in the last fight.
Yeah, Mind Control is super underwhelming unless he gets a massive static link off. He has picked up the mech for his team, as we did allude to earlier on, but Levi smoked up alongside Yapzor, who is not looking for blood. They're not going to find Magoma. He actually walks back, but he is the poorest hero in the game by far. And
Masquerade going to get jumped by fucking Mad. Bambo is here as well. The exact same play that they previously made. The trap is set, and they actually canceled the hookshot with those treants. Now Masquerade is going to fall. Will die to the Culling Blade. That's going to be that kill on a Clockwork. Not really going to be bringing Unknown back from the situation that they're in, but it's a start, especially if they get a tier 1 tower on top of that.
Yeah, Magoma being caught out dewarding there was just safe enough not to be blinked forward, but Laguna Blade gonna finish off the axe there for fucking Mad, and Miracle way too strong right now. Level 3 Laguna Blade doing that 950 pure damage.
I don't know how much Axe has as far as his HP pool is concerned, but I'm pretty sure it's not that much more than 950. Down towards bottom lane, Padrino going to get jumped by Bambo and Paris, but he's going to turn things around, going straight for Nature Prophet. Split is there, so Padrino is going to lose his first life. His second life is also in a lot of trouble just because he has no backup here. Blink out is going to get him a little bit of distance, but with another rock cooling down, I don't know if he actually has enough to escape this. The Brewmaster, even if he resumes his main form, going to get another split out anyway, and Padrino is going to be focused down. He's down for a minute, and it's going to be a nice pick off for basically Unknown, at the same time holding their tier 1 tower. They're still fighting back, and they're doing a decent job at that, and this is really the difference. Bambo is actually starting to help out in these ganks.
Yeah, and I mean, if they keep Padrino down enough, they don't have too much late game from the side of BBC, but LSA, Laguna Blade out onto Mind Control, easy kill going Miracle's way. He's going to feed over a lot of experience if he dies here. However, there's no Mystic Flare to drop over top the Sprout, but a jump in, clap, one big right click. Miracle getting low, Arcane Bolt is chasing him down, but he's bottling up, and he'll be just fine. He can even Yule's dodge it if need be. Hook in from Massacre. They're going to bring down Paris Brewmaster, and Yule's up onto fucking Mad. Is going to overlap the LSA a bit, but he should fall here regardless, and he does end up doing so. 4 for 1 overall. Padrino going down early, so almost a 4 for 0, effectively going BBC's way.
Man, a fully channeled Death Ward from Levi and Unknown. They were just like scrambling to get to that Witch Doctor, but they couldn't through the cogs, and Levi was pretty much perfectly positioned. Was interrupted in the end by a call, but that just killed off the axe, so I guess that was pretty worth it for Levi to get that full channel off. And I mean, they dropped the Lina so low, as you said. It's a huge priority kill for Unknown because they will get so much experience in cash if they kill off this Lina. But just so close yet so far away. Up towards top lane, Bambo doing what he can versus Masquerade, who is going to cut through immediately that Sprout. Now with the Battery Assault active, going to catch Bambo in the cogs if needed, but he doesn't even need to. Hookshot from point blank is going to kill off the Natured Prophet. The split push did pretty much nothing onto this top lane tower. Masquerade just going to take another one home. Now 13-30, and BBC with a double life on their Lina. She's looking to be rather unkillable right now, unless basically Unknown take numbers advantage, but so far that just hasn't been happening, at least not towards the Lina.
Yeah, and she's going to pick up a Scythe of Vice sometime soon, if not a Shiva's. Shiva's probably not even needed here. The right click really isn't too scary from Unknown, but definitely gives them some chase potential. Doesn't allow Bridon to get kited. Hex, though, certainly invaluable here. If you're able to hex up Paris' Brewmaster before he gets to split off and bring him down, that is a massive win for BBC. And they've been winning all these engagements. Bottom lane, they are going to Rocket Flare out easy Laguna Blade onto the Skyrad. Godlike for Miracle. Blink down to the south from fucking Mad will keep him safe for the time being. Levi looking for him, though. He's got no TP. He's got another Blink available in 5 seconds. Blink down to the south from the Lina is going to look for him behind the tier 1. Not going to find him. Rocket Flare scouts him out, but just barely a fraction of a second late as he's able to blink out. They will bring down the tier 1, however, and there's no reason why they can't continue to push with this double life on Miracle.
Dude, having a press button kill Skywrath Mage in literally one hit skill is pretty sweet. Like, Skywrath Mage was literally at full HP there, but Miracle has a 950 damage nuke, and Skywrath Mage is like 920 HP or something like that. So, yeah, 930 HP. So, Miracle is able to get those free kills every single time. And if you look at everyone else, the Laguna Blade represents a little bit more than half of each of their HP pools, so Miracle is packing some serious heat right now. Plus he still has the Aegis, plus he has the rest of his team behind him, and they're going to use that to kill off the tier 1 tower, and they still have the Aegis. They might as well keep going. Skywrath Mage, if you show your face, there's a Laguna Blade with your name on it. But
Level
this time
10
you will be fine.
Mage and level 19 Miracle Lina right now. So a couple more hero kills farmed for Miracle. She'll be level 20 to the level 15 of the Clockwork and the Wraith King and the 14 of the Tricore of BU. So Miracle, serious momentum here. Jump forward call is only going to land on one. Blade Mail will be there. Plasma Field as well. Going to bring Bridon pretty low. We're going to have the split in the back lines. They will be able to bring down Bridon. It's just the reincarnation, however. Miracle still has the Aegis hooked forward from Massacre. The Mystic Flare won't be enough to do work, and Mind Control going to fall here, and the GG is going to be called. BBC not going down without a fight. They'll take this to a 2-1 series standing.
Bambo is going to survive, so he's not going to lose that much of his score for the score screen, but still, it is BBC to win off the back of a very, very farmed Lina, and well, Razor Pick might not have worked out in the end for the basically unknown side. I'd say the combination of the jungling Axe, the Razor, and the Nature's Prophet just not really performing enough for basically unknown, whereas for BBC, yeah, they're kind of out of their comfort zone as far as heroes that they like to pick, but it still works out so very well for them. And it turns into a win pre-30 minutes as well. So BBC striking back, bringing it to a game 4 now, which is going to be coming up very shortly, guys. We hope you enjoyed this game, and we'll be right back for game 4, and we'll see if Unknown can close it out then. But BBC, maybe the dream is real, a running 3-0 victory to win the Bridon League, but we'll just have to wait and see, guys. For right now, we'll be right back.